Of the Board of Directors of San Bernardino Valley Municipal Water District. Welcome, everyone. This is for Tuesday, June 16, 2026. Please stand and join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God,
indivisible,
with liberty and justice for all.
Gil's giving me a bad time again. Yeah. Roll call, please.
Vice President Mateo,
Yes.
Director Keelhold,
Here.
Director Longville, Director Velasquez,
Here.
and President Harrison.
Just bad. That's
We have a quorum. The board is present.
all right. Thank you, sir. Now's the time for public comment. Members of the public may address the board regarding any item within the subject matter jurisdiction of the board. However, no action may be taken on off-agenda items except as authorized by law. Each speaker is limited to maximum of 3 minutes. Do we have any speakers, sir?
Mr. President, I have not received any requests for public comment to the public that's present in person and online. If you wish to provide a public comment, please raise your hand to be recognized. Nothing seen, sir.
Thank you very much. Next on our agenda is the consent calendar. Item 2.1 and 2.2, we have 2 items. The minutes of May 12th, engineering workshop, and the minutes of May 26th, our wages, benefits, and insurance meeting. What is your pleasure?
Move consent. Second.
We have a motion and a second.
Let the record reflect, Director Longville made the motion and it was seconded by Vice President Mateo.
Thank you.
For roll call, Director Keelhold,
Yes.
Director Velasquez,
Yes.
Director Longville,
Yes.
Vice President Boteo,
Yes.
and President Harrison.
Yes.
The consent calendar is approved.
Thank you, sir. Next on our agenda is item 3.1, which is our first discussion item. This is an update on the transition of Inland Empire Brine Line Pre-Treatment Program Services to the Santa Ana Watershed Project Authority for fiscal year 26-27. This will be found on page 17 of your agenda and brought to us by Leo Ferrando. Leo, welcome.
Thank you, Mr. President, and good afternoon, members of the board. Happy to be here to go over this item. But before I begin, I do want to acknowledge and I want to thank Lucas Gilbert. He's with SAPA. He's the manager of pre-treatment and permitting at the SAPA agency, and we've been working together in what you're about to see. So I do want to acknowledge him and thank him for being here this afternoon.
Lucas is not a man we get to see very often at SAPA. I don't know where he hides, but welcome. I'm glad you're here.
So the first thing I will do is I'll provide a brief overview of the brine line. So the SAPA watershed boundaries is shown in black on the attached map with its 5 member agencies: Orange County Water District, Inland Empire Utilities Agency, Western, Eastern, and ourselves at the most upper end of the watershed. And the brine line is shown in purple, and it's mainly designed, and the purpose of the brine line is to convey industrial waste waters and water that has excess TDS and saline content so that it can be properly conveyed to a facility in Orange County Sanitation Water District, properly treated and disposed of it. And it's very important to our water quality in our watershed because it approximately removes 500,000 pounds of brine per day from our waters. And then zooming in to our service area, more specifically shown in black on this map, and in red we have the brine line. We do have 3 permittees: the Southern California Edison, Mountain View, Power Plant, which is located in Redlands, Rialto Bioenergy Solutions, which is located in the city of Rialto, and Agua Mansa Power Plant, which is located in the city of Colton. So this program for pretreatment is basically set to ensure that industrial and non-reclaimable discharges entering the brine line meet all federal requirements from OC-SAN agreements, as well as all of the SAPA agreements. And SAPA holds overall responsibility over the brine line pretreatment source control program. However, under contract requirement, they are delegated to each of the member agencies of the upper watershed to administer. And so some of these activities include permitting, compliance monitoring, facility inspections, and compliance sampling, which require laboratory tests of all of the discharges by each of the permittees, and constant day-to-day coordination for the database management, amendment, and review of permits, questions, and enforcement, notice of violations, and et cetera. So we've been coordinating with SAPA staff, and we've been communicating with them lately in order to streamline this pretreatment process and try to make it more efficient. And that led to a proposal that you have on your packet, which includes a proposal for approximately $57,700 for SAPA staff time to take care of these pretreatment activities, from SAPA's own staff. And then separately, we would also work with the laboratory for estimated costs for the year for about $24,000. So both of those items would be paid through monthly invoicing within the general manager's authority. So there's no need to enter into a professional services contract or anything like that. So on my last slide, I do want to highlight some of the benefits of why we propose to transition from a consultant to working directly with SAPA. And aside from the obvious benefit of the lower costs by roughly about $15,000, we believe that will improve the direct communication and streamline all the compliance communication between not only our staff and between SAPA staff, but also with OC-SAN and all of these discharges. So with that ends my presentation. And although this is a receive and file item, I do at this time will entertain any questions or feedback from the board.
Thank you, Leo. Appreciate that. To me, this makes a lot of sense. Are there comments by the board? Anyone?
It's $13,000 a year.
Any, is that all?
I do have through the chair.
All right.
Leo, thank you for your presentation. I appreciate it. I know that you really didn't have to bring this to the board, but I appreciate the heads up. I know that's within Heather's signing. But what I like about this is that you really have done your due diligence to make sure that we're saving money, and we're accomplishing the same goal.
That's correct.
So thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you, sir.
President.
Any other comments? Leo, I appreciate this and I appreciate the presentation. As you know, the brine line is an important part of my involvement with SAPA. I really feel that that's one of the most important, if not the most important functions of SAPA, because of all of the good that brine line does and the commerce that it brings to our valley. The organizations that basically couldn't function or would have to spend huge amounts of money processing all of this. So I really, I think this is a great move because we already work so close with SAPA. Our team and their team work together on so many things. And our executive director is definitely part of that and part of the decision making for SAPA. So I really do support this, and I thank you for being here. And I think if there's no other comments, it's a receive and file. And thank you, Leo. I think it's approved.
Just for informational purposes, this item will be being brought to the SAPA Commission and also, I believe, the committee for SAPA's consideration as well, that they're willing to take this on. But we want to make sure that you heard about it from us first.
Great. Very nice. Thank you. Appreciate it. All right. Next are directors' reports. Item 4.1. That's the last of our discussion items and our agenda items for the board to participate in. This is now our director's reports of activities and travel requests. And Susan, could we start with you and we'll go down the line?
Of course, Mr. President, the only meeting outside of our regular meetings that I attended was the annual meeting of the League of Women Voters of San Bernardino on June the 6th. And on June the 10th, I went to the California Natural Resources Agency meeting with California Trout on nature-based solutions. That's all I have.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. On 6/3, since our last meeting, was a webinar, Flows, Fish, and Firo. That was on the 3rd of June. Then on the 10th, there was an event hosted by Supervisor Baca Jr. at the Racina Ranch area. His efforts to create safe green space, we were involved with that, but specifically, we joined our retail agency, West Valley, for a turf removal kickoff. So that was actually a very good event. Our staff was there. They had a table and we're answering. There's a lot of questions from the homeowners from that area about how we bring water from Lake Oroville to this valley. So I thought that was pretty interesting. And then last night, myself and my colleague, Director Velasquez, we attended the MODOC, the Orange County Water District. They had a forum on Sites Reservoir. And it's an interesting group of individuals, very old, how I would describe old school water folk. And we had the pleasure of meeting Larry Dick. He's the president. The guy's very, he's a character, but also he's very, very learned in water and other areas. So I appreciated meeting him. The highlight of the evening was a panel discussion on Sites Reservoir. And the highlight for me, and I think I think it's safe to say for the group that were there, was Heather's presentation. And I think that Heather's ability to really talk about creating a new water, the water rights discussion that is going on, and how we need to do this now, or it's going to cost us a whole lot of money if we don't take this as bull by the horns and make it happen. I think that message that she put out there really resonated with the folks that were there, because there are a lot of unanswered questions. So I think for me anyway, sites, it could go sideways. And I think listening to Heather, that we're on track. And I just want to applaud her efforts. She got 3, ovations, and people just really, really connected with how she integrated the science as a biologist, but also with the vision of creating the site's reservoir. So thank you for that. I really enjoyed it. It was just such an honor to see you in action, and I thank you.
Pleasure. Thank you for driving all that way. It meant a lot to me.
That's it, sir.
Great, thank you. On Tuesday, the 2nd of June, had the pleasure of joining Stephanie and our executive director at the Redland City Council, where we gave them a bunch of money. And they seemed to be pretty appreciative, much more so than last time we gave them money. And that was a nice evening. And then the next day, I attended the Loma Linda Chamber of Commerce. And then on Friday, I attended the Redlands Chamber of Commerce. And following that, I attended the National HCP Government Relations Committee, which was virtual. Then on the 8th, Monday the 8th, I attended the Special Districts Board meeting. On the, let's see. Oh, on the 10th, I attended the Grand Terrace Chamber of Commerce. And then yesterday, I attended, last night I attended the Special Districts dinner that was held in Chino. And I think that's it. Sir.
Thank you, Mr. President. I too, like Vice President Mateo, attended the Flip the Switch event by Supervisor Baca Jr. at Resina Ranch Community for the turf removal project. I think that's a great connection between the community and agencies to show our collaboration and how we could get things done in an efficient manner. I also attended on 6/15, I attended the Water Forum for MODOC on Sites Reservoir. What I got of that was it was nice to see how water agencies in Orange County also share our sentiment of the importance of Sites Reservoir for their water portfolio. It was very clear that they, like Director Botello said, our general manager's insight really brought clarity to them. But at the same time, they really show the importance of pushing forward for this Sites Reservoir project. And I think that's important to know that we're not in it alone, and there's other agencies that are really, really interested in it. That ends my report.
Great. Thank you. Paul?
Very good. On June 3rd, I attended the Water Conservation District Operations and Committee meeting. They reported on quite a lot of maintenance that they do out in the facilities, and that was there's a lot of work out there, but they caught up. I also went to a check presentation for East Valley Water District, and then on the 10th of June, I went to a Water Conservation District Board meeting where they had an item on the a couple of items of business with one of their mining companies. So they're moving quite a bit far down the road. For instance, the mining company purchased mitigation from their Plunge Creek bank, and that will go to the Conservation Trust. But that's one more thing that they're required to do under the HCP. And then they've got some legal homework to do for the BLM land transfer. That was it.
Okay. I apologize. There's one important matter that I forgot to include in my report, and that was the guest of honor and speaker at the Loma Linda Chamber of Commerce. And she did an incredible job, as she did the other night, or last night, and she always does. She makes us proud to be involved in this organization. Thank you, Heather. All right. Moving right along. I don't have my regular agenda with me, so general counsel report.
Nothing to report.
Nothing to report. Just the mark or your parents' grandchild is doing well. That's the important part. All right. Any ad hoc or standing committee reports? Nope. Okay. SAPA committee report. SAPA meeting report.
Yes, sir. Today we did have a SAPA meeting this morning, June 16, regular meeting. The commission adopted resolution number 2026-5 approving the statement of investment policy and the delegating authority to the general manager and or the chief financial officer to manage investments in accordance with the statement of investment policy. Also, the commission adopted resolution number 2026-4 establishing the fiscal year 2026-27 Inland Empire Brine Line rates to be effective July 1st, 2026. So the rates for Brine Line are going up a bit. So we had a robust discussion about that. The commission also authorized the general manager to execute an agreement with West Yost in the amount not to exceed $654,562 to perform the ambient water quality AWQ storage model update project. And finally, the commission received and we had a receive and file on the following information reports: the legislative report by West Coast Advisors, SAPA's strategic plan development by Catalyst Group, and request for proposals on, which I think is a great idea, on-call grant writing for funding support services. That's it, sir.
Thank you very much. Next is our treasurer's report.
Yes, once again, I have examined the records in our agenda on pages 33 through 40. And I recommend to the board that we approve the cash disbursements for the month of May 2026. State water project, $6,554,544.05. And the general fund, $3,845,506.96.
Second.
Thank you very much. We have a motion and second, Mr. Clerk.
Director Longville,
Yes.
Director Velasquez,
Yes.
Vice President Boteo,
Yes.
Director Keelhold,
Yes.
and President Harrison.
Yes,
The motion carries. The May Traders Report is approved.
thank you very much. Now we're going to hear Sayer say something.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Our water delivery report.
Absolutely.
Thank
For
you.
the month of, no, thank you. For the month of May, state water project deliveries were almost 2,000 acre feet, bringing us to 7,634 acre feet year to date. The groundwater baseline feeder wells produced 552 acre feet, bringing us to almost 1,700 acre feet year to date. And the Santa Ana River diversions are still under our water right, and we diverted 1,440 acre feet. And so far this year, we've been able to divert almost 6,500 acre feet. Again, Water Conservation District kind of burned through their water right early in the year. So we were able to pick up a little earlier than usual. For precipitation, the Northern Sierra precip, the 8-station index has measured 50.5 inches of precip, and they will need 2.7 inches of precip additionally to reach the water year average, which again is still blocked by that current box, but we're measuring against the 53.2 inches. And again, this is the 8-station index that's up in Northern California. the local precip, we have a 3-station index at Lytle Creek, Big Bear Dam, and Mill Creek. And we had no precip for the month of May, so we are still at 35.29 inches, but we did get some good precip early in the year, so we are 4.23 inches above our historic average. For the month of May, or as of the month of May, excuse me, we have delivered 6,915 acre feet of direct deliveries, bringing us to 22% of our operating plan. We have delivered 718 acre feet of recharge deliveries, bringing us to 24% of the operating plan. And that operating plan was adjusted when the allocation increased. We have notified the retailers of that increased allocation. Again, recharge efforts are still largely on hold, but as you remember from last month, the direct delivery operating plan is almost in every case at 100% of the orders that the retailer sent in, so we can fulfill all direct delivery orders. And us water resources staff are monitoring the state reservoir levels and weather patterns to stay ahead of potential El Nino related climate conditions. We are aware that some retailers are concerned about potential precip, but it's so hot and it's so dry. We are in a monitoring state right now before we make any decisions. So, and I'm happy to answer any question.
Thank you, Sarah. Are there any comments, questions? No? All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. All right, item 4.7, our general manager's report. Heather?
Thank you. Well, like you guys have mentioned, I feel like I've been on the public speaking circuit recently, but it is my pleasure. So, as noted, we did give our presentation of about $150,000 to the city of Redlands for Prop 1 Round 1 grant for a recycled water project that they did irrigating some orange groves, and then also a demand management incentive check. So we had a great presentation. It was a fun meeting. Everyone was very happy. And as you can see, we got to deliver 2 large checks because they were from 2 different portions of the program. So very happy to have been able to do that. The new director of utilities, Monica Herrera, was there. We also had some great conversations with people in the audience who are Redlands residents. So it was a fun evening, as said by President Harrison. Following day, Loma Linda Chamber of Commerce, which I had never attended before. I gave a presentation on what we do, how we do it, kind of the big picture water supply projects from Northern California all the way down here into our service area. We got a lot of great feedback that, you know, people just didn't understand how large the scale is, how long the time frame is, how expensive the investments are, and the complexities involved in planning a long-term water supply so that when the people who live and work in this region need it, it will be available. So fantastic conversation to the Chamber of Commerce. I really enjoyed meeting the local business leaders in Loma Linda. As noted by Director Keelhold, we were able to give a demand management check to East Valley Water District. I believe that was last week.
Heather?
Yes, sir.
Could I just interrupt 1 second? This picture that everybody has in front of them, and I think what was, you go back, that one right there. The gentleman in red that you and I are speaking with is the executive director of the Redlands Chamber of Commerce. They have between 200 and 300 people attending their Chamber of Commerce meetings every week, every month. And they have just been voted the #1 Chamber of Commerce in the entire state of California. And we have also been voted the #1 special districts in our Special Districts Association in the state of California, the San Bernardino Special District. So we have some achievers in our valley. Thank you for letting me interrupt.
Of course, yes. We actually did get a couple of requests during this Chamber of Commerce discussion to go speak at other service groups within our area, Grand Terrace, Redlands Chamber of Commerce, et cetera. So this is a really effective way of spreading the message of what we do and why it's so important that we continue to move forward towards these long-term water supply challenges that we have. So it's a great opportunity for us to get out there, and I look forward to doing more of them. This is East Valley Water District receiving a check for $100,000 to put towards their water conservation program. As a reminder, Demand Management Incentive Program is something that the San Bernardino Valley Board approves over the last 5 to 7 years. We've really tried to make it as adaptable to the needs of the retail agencies as possible to really promote their continued investment in the programming required to meet the California Conservation as a Way of Life law requirements, which is just around the corner. And so we were able to give out $500,000 this year to the retail agencies that participated. We were also able to secure several million dollars in different types of grant funding activities through the DWR. So we have expanded this program to try to make it as user-friendly and effective as possible in terms of water conservation. So it was great to see members of the East Valley Board accepting that check and Director Keelhold giving it away. So unfortunately, I was not able to attend this celebration as I was out of town, but I did hear great things about it, Flip the Switch celebration. And one thing that I would like to highlight about this, as was already noted by Vice President Botello and Director Velasquez, is that, it was a great community event. It seems like there was a lot of engagement. People came out, they asked great questions. But what I really like about it is the fact that the West Valley Water District staff took the funding that we gave them last year for the demand management program and was able to use that as matching funds to get another grant to help with this particular project, working with Supervisor Baca. And it was just a fantastic representation of why partnership works, why collaboration is a very effective strategy in terms of reaching these goals, and especially making every single dollar stretch farther. So they were able to, basically double this money in terms of the use of it for their community and reaching their conservation goals. So I'm in admiration of both the staff and the supervisor's office because it was a very creative way to really help achieve our goals. And then finally, as noted last night, it just seems like a few hours ago, honestly, we were down in Costa Mesa for this event. MODOC holds a water policy dinner. And like was said, there's a lot of big movers and shakers in the Southern California water world that were attending. And it was a very cool panel with someone from Irvine Ranch Water District, someone from the Sites Authority, and also someone from Metropolitan, and myself serving on the panel. And I thought we had, very pointed comments and questions that let us really dig into the meat of why sites is important, what the questions are, what are some of our challenges. And we did have a honest, forthright conversation about it in a way that, it's not just polishing everything over. It's hard. This project is hard. It is expensive. It's taking decades. But like I said last night, it is a critical piece of California's water portfolio. And I really believe that we're going to be able to get this done. And again, once again, based on partnership, collaboration, statewide coordination of how do you get these huge pieces of infrastructure done. So it was my honor to represent our agency last night. I did want to just give a couple other updates which were in the staff memo or in the corresponding 3-month look ahead. So the Golden Mussel pilot study, which is being conducted by DWR with the assistance of our staff, is going very well. They're actually in the last phases of that pilot study. I would like to happily report that it is working as we expected it to. It is showing to be an effective preventative tool. We have found no adult mussels in this part of the State Water Project. We have found no juvenile veligers, and we have not detected any DNA in the water samples that have been taken within the portions of the pipeline being treated with the Earth Tech. So as we mentioned at the BTEC meeting, DWR has worked at, for them, what is light speed in getting this pilot study done, and it is very promising. And this is one of the only parts of the State Water Project system, if not the only, that I have heard of that does not have any golden mussel detection. So that's great news. And thanks to, proactive work that was done by our staff and our board actually on Earth Tech many years ago. So happy to report that. We have a couple more check presentations coming up this month. I believe Kelly and staff are coordinating for San Bernardino, West Valley, Rialto, and others. So we will be making sure that those things happen. A few updates that were on the 3-month look ahead that I wanted to highlight coming up in the next couple of months so that you can be expecting it. I don't want to lock down a specific date yet because a lot of it is arrangements with other agencies. But we will be giving a presentation on the Wilson Basin maintenance activities that were done in partnership with San Bernardino County Flood Control. This is facilities up in the Yucaipa area that are used to recharge the Yucaipa Basin, and we were able to share permits and staff and resources with flood control to get those basins cleaned out so that we will be able to recharge there shortly. So we'll be giving a presentation on that in July. We will also be having Eric Eustation from Yuhaviatam Tribe to talk about the completed Arrowhead Springs temporary water supply project that we assisted them on. So he will be here, I believe it is July 7th. We'll make sure that we all note that date. So he will be speaking to the board at that point to give an update on that project and what it means to them in terms of having that temporary water supply to Arrowhead Springs. So that was something that our engineering staff and our operations staff helped them achieve. We will also, I'm happy to report that we were able to get the Upper Santa Ana River Habitat Conservation Plan reviewed through the U.S. Justice Department solicitor. It's gone through full review. Joanna has made all of the required or requested updates to the plan based on the solicitor's comments. We have returned it to them. So the next step is really the Palm Springs office writing the incidental take permit. So we are in the very last steps of all of that. We will be giving a presentation on that in early August. And then finally, once we wrap up the Golden Mussel pilot study, we will be having a presentation probably with some DWR staff and potentially other agency staff that benefit from this project here in August on the results of that study. So something to look forward to in the coming months. And with that, I believe that wraps up my item. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Let's move to, well, I'm not sure which is which because I don't have it on my agenda, but future business. Is there any future business from any board members? Yes, sir.
I have a request. And I know Cindy's not here today, but maybe Matthew can help me with this one. But Heather, as we embark on these formation of these JPAs, the latest one is the hydroelectric, and we have the WIFIA, and we have the HCP. How are we tracking costs?
We track it through a very extensive counting coding system. So each project or program has a specific area within our accounting system that we account for every cost that comes in. So the invoices, depending on the complexity of it all, it could be a very complicated coding effort done by Cindy and Matthew. I would say probably the Habitat Conservation Plan is the most complicated one because we share costs across so many different partners, 10 different partners. And also there's many different phases of that. So every activity has a specific cost share that gets coded into our budget. Then, for instance, the WIFIA loan, Watershed Connect, that one was a little more simple because actually the only two agencies incurring costs on that were ourselves and Ukaipa Valley Water District. So we split those costs proportionally. Almost every cost that we have with partners, we apply a proportional share of the expenses. So for instance, for the WIFIA loan, we just looked at what is the total program loan, what is each agency's proportionate share of that, and we split the costs accordingly. For something like the Joint Powers Authority for the hydro, as we've talked about before, we're about 70% with the other agencies. I can't remember the exact percentages off the top of my head. Bear Valley, Crafton, and Big Bear, we each have our cost share. So for future expenses related to that, if for some reason we're not taking it out of seed money for the JPA, we will fund at that proportion. So in our accounting system, every single cost has what it's for, who the cost share entities are, and for instance, if we've been reimbursed yet or not.
Oh, thank you for that. So I think what I'm interested in, and what I hope that my colleagues would be also, is that what our costs are as the district. And if we could get an accounting once a year so that we know where we are, especially since we're starting with the hydroelectric.
Mhm.
It's brand new. I think it would be an easy thing for you all, for our fiscal staff to deliver, so that we know what we're spending and the taxpayers know what these things are costing us, our ratepayers.
Okay. Just to clarify, so that would be for kind of all of our big partnered efforts.
Exactly.
Okay.
Through the chair.
Oh,
Heather, do we track the same type of information for staff time spent working with the Department of Water Resources?
On some projects we do. For instance, for the Habitat Conservation Plan, we do track a lot of staff time and even intern time, because we do a lot of that work on behalf of other agencies who have received permits. And so, for instance, East Valley Water District reimburses us for the time that is spent out in the field doing the field work that is required of the Sterling Natural Resources permit. So we do it on those things. There are other things like golden mussel, for instance. We don't track it quite so finely in granular detail, mostly because, for instance, anything to do with DWR, even if we passed on the cost, it would just get passed back to us with a percentage added for the DWR time to process all of that. So for instance, on the Rhomboid pickup, for, everyone's favorite project, we didn't charge for our staff time to do any of that because DWR would have charged us for it and invoiced
I
it for us. So it
understand
just
why
depends.
we wouldn't want to charge necessarily.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering if we can track costs.
So we are,
We know what the district spends, like if the site's authority wants to select a construction manager and they use district staff. How do we track that staff time spent on something, a project like that?
yeah, for a special initiative, again, as an example, the Hydro JPA, we will be tracking all staff costs because some of those will be passed on to the Joint Powers Authority. Some of it will be an automatic reimbursement. The Hydro staff itself is just going to be flat across the board reimbursed 100%. Whereas someone like Joanna, who's getting permits for that, but that's not her full-time job, we will track that by hour. And so we are in the process of, I would say, expanding our accounting system to include staff time to cost codes. And that is something that we're actively working on building the software to be able to do that by job, by project, et cetera.
Thank you.
okay. Do you feel that's enough, or do you want to take a formal action?
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you. Yes.
great.
Cindy and I will start working on that.
Thank you. All right, announcements.
Mr. President, members of the board, as we close out the month of June, just a reminder to the board, we will see you here next week on Thursday, June 25th at 10 a.m. for a board director special meeting for the fund budget workshop. As we move into the month of July, just a reminder, the agency will be closed on July 3rd due to a federal holiday. And for the month of July, we have all regularly scheduled board meetings. Pending any questions from the board, that's all we have for announcements.
Okay, did you say June 26 or June 25?
25, sir.
Okay, thank you. All right, any questions? Comments? All right. Next, we have a closed session and we'll ask our legal counsel to announce us into that session.
Yes, so we will be going to closed session now for an anticipated litigation matter pursuant to paragraph 2 subdivision D of Government Code section 54956.9 on one potential case.
Thank you very much. Thank you for attending, and we'll come back to this location as soon as we finish our closed session. On. Thank you. Matt, would you like? Matt, would you like to bring us out of our closed session, please?
Yes. No reportable action from the closed session.
All right. Thank you. There being no further items on our agenda, we are adjourned. Have a good evening.